NBC sanctions AIT channels and Arise over Lekki shooting. The national broadcasting station NBC has sanctioned 3 major broadcast stations over their alleged roles in escalation of violence across the nation. Seems like everybody wants to move mad. The regulators fined Arise TV, African Independence Television, and Channels TV between 2 million and 3 million naira. The stations were accused of airing unverified images of the alleged shooting. The protest, which began on a peaceful note, has since gone violent, with many states experiencing wanton destructions and looting of public and private properties. What? But you have to, exactly. The first comment here says, sanction BBC, Al Jazeera and other foreign nations stations too. Even CNN. That doesn't make sense. You're trying to profit off the situation. Basically, you can't fool us. Even without the channel TV stations. The fact was that they were not even the first to carry the news. If DJ Switch did not go live, we would have not seen how chaotic it was. Basically, she went live and we all saw everything and it went viral. Not to even expose the government on how they tried to make sure that everyone died that night and make sure it didn't go viral, because the cell towers were off, the lights around there were put off, and the CCTV cameras were gone. So you obviously planned this, and now you're trying to find these corporations. But then Anonymous released a letter that you sent to all these stations that you're sanctioning now, and you sent a letter basically trying to make them change the narrative on how they should air the news, basically using gaslighting tactics such as hoodlums and miscreants for protesters, which was peaceful. Because at the end of the day, all these AIT channels, they were literally bullied into airing the news, because it was like, these things is trending on Twitter, it's trending on Instagram, and then you have nothing to do with it, and your channels, they did not air it immediately. They were practically bullied by Nigerians for them to air it so that it can actually gain international traction. But no. So do you want to talk about how you sent the letter to them in the first place, not to cover it? Absolutely. See, this... The first comment here says, this is a good decision. They aired unverified videos, especially AIT. Any video untrue or fake, AIT will air it. Again, that's the thing. It seems like all these people, these random people who just decide to come and literally look for clout. To just come and be talking rubbish. And of course, you can't be annoyed. You literally can't be annoyed. You asked for this. You basically went to Nigerians and said, Nigerians, please beat me up on the internet. And they've just done just that. This person says, if TV channels have proved that what they were aired were the truth, they don't have anything to fear, really. Insulting people doesn't make you a better human being. Make dignified comments and you still make your points. Exactly. They are biased. They're all working against the Nigerian nation. They must all be tried. Inciting mayhem. AIT channels and Arise TV are enemies of the people. The thing is, it just doesn't make sense, because they weren't even the first channels to air it at the moment it was happening. The Nigerian people in Lagos, literally, Twitter made that video trend. That was basically it for DJ Switch, because they actually planned that nothing would happen that day because the cell towers were off. And MTN actually had the audacity to come and apologize and be like, oh, we are so sorry, our engineers are working. No, you planned it. The cell towers were off and people could not have service. So at this point, all these channels, they can go do whatever. Now, to be honest, Arise TV is actually exempt because they were very, very consistent in capturing a lot of information around the country from every state. So to be honest, Arise TV should actually be exempt from it because they're the most consistent out of all the TV stations. But still, they were literally sent letters hours before, or a day before the Crocodile Smile operation, on how to broadcast this event, on how to change the narrative. And again, these corporations, these broadcasting corporations, they did not even air this live at the moment, at the heat of the moment. They were literally bullied. Nigerians literally bullied them into airing it. That's basically what happened. And you're going to find them for doing their jobs? Of course. We know where the agenda is, and we know you guys are all part of it. You try to control the public, and it will not work. Another person says, if you see the way they are attacking any of their quest who has contrary to their fake news, you'll be wondering whether they're happy. We'll be wondering whether they are happy with what is happening. Someone says, you are very stupid for insulting NBC. They are doing their work. What? If anything, if the corporations can literally gaslight the people into what happened and what did not happen, and even your leaders, someone who came and said that no one died and there were 3 casualties, it's literally like, what is actually going on here? This comment section is basically a market. I don't even understand what is going on here. Because at the end of the day, what? This is actually embarrassing. It's, if they're going to sanction the local ones, they have to sanction BBC as well. But they don't have that power, do they? They absolutely don't. And of course, because of, especially at Rice TV, they've been consistent, and it's been costly to them. It's been really costly to them in terms of like exposing all of them, giving the news, or making the news trend of how certain politicians were traveling out of the country, how certain states were not giving palliatives, and how they were found in warehouses. And the thing was that all these corporations were literally warned by the NBC. There was a letter on Twitter that was trending that was sent to them on how they should air all these controversial matters. It's highly embarrassing, to be honest. I mean, wow. Someone says, you see these evil politicians, they won't still change. What shameless NTA cannot do to other independent stations aired live incident, you are now finding them. This is more reason why there will still be more protests, because this is a time for more peaceful protests. These men are so impossible. Please, if you're going to comment, please comment with sense. And I understand what this person is trying to say, but don't make it hard for us to read and understand. Grammatically, I understand Nigerians are angry right now. It's a lot of capital letters. The grammar has gone left, the grammar has gone right. But just please comment well with full stops, capital letters, everything. These people want to silence the media in a democratic government. Nigeria's not a democratic government. It's a democratic government on paper, basically. Like, it's not being applied. If it's not applied and it's not being employed for the people's benefit, then there's no government. Point blank, period. These TV stations are causing nothing to escalate. Exactly. The minute you go send military men to shoot peaceful protesters, that is when you made it escalate on your part in terms of the government. Because how are they making it escalate? If anything, they were bullied into not doing their job, because they were meant to have been the first news stations to actually air it. But who did it for them? It was Twitter. That's it. Twitter did the job. Even all these social media platforms, like for example Facebook, has been notorious for trying to censor a lot of protests and also a lot of information about how protests go all over the world. And of course, for the Lekki massacre, they did the same thing. At this point, we don't even need them. It's just useless. Put what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you believe the NBC has every right to sanction Nigerian TV news channels on escalating and airing the incident that happened in the Lekki massacre? Put what you think in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.